Hey everybody, you're watching Pushing Film. My name's Hashem, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about Lomography's Lomochrome Metropolis film, which I got the chance to shoot in 35mm. So Lomo was nice enough to send me a roll of their Lomo Metro film a long time ago. They sent me this late last year, and because of the way this year 2020 unfolded, I did not really get the chance to shoot this film the way I wanted to because of restrictions. It just took me a really long time to get through this roll. So for that reason, I'm really late to the game with the reviews on Lomo Metro that are already out there. And, I'd already shot the roll and thought I might as well still give my opinion on the film. So this is going to be a very casual, unscientific look at my roll of this film. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about the film. I'm just going to show you some of the shots that I got on my roll, which I shot in my Nikon FE. I loaded it into the FE, and because they recommend you can shoot it anywhere between 100 and 400, at the time I thought I'd do something different and shoot it at 100 because some of the reviews I'd seen, people had shot it at 200 or 400. And I really liked the results from some of the shots I'd seen other people take, but, spoiler alert, I didn't really love this film, at least what I got with this roll. But let's look at some photos and I'll kind of explain, some of the strengths and weaknesses in terms of my opinion on this film. I still really appreciate that Lomography sent me this film and, they didn't pay me to give any particular point of view on it, so I'm just going to be honest and give you my actual thoughts on the film. Just, right here on the computer, I'm just going to open up some shots and show you the first one. I'm not going to show every shot on the roll, but I'm just going to show the ones that sort of turned out. And the first one I've got here is just a shot of Sarah that I took while she was playing on the Nintendo Switch. I wanted to see what the Lomo Metro would do with that. And you can kind of see, it's just typically what you probably already know about this film is that it desaturates colors and it sort of has a punchy contrast, those deep blacks. Let's look at another shot here that I took. This was sort of like a blue hour, but you can see in some of my shots here that they have a bit of a purple cast or pinkish sort of look in the highlights, or maybe red in the highlights, and from what I'd seen in other people's photos it was more of a green cast. And yeah, this doesn't look anything too great. The white balance is correct, but the skies look unusual to my eye at least. Here was a shot of our little kitten Winchester, and he just had a bath, but you can kind of see that the film just starts to break apart and look muddy here, even though it's exposed correctly. The latitude of the film isn't great. It's not as good as in most consumer films, I would say. I just don't like the colors too much. I don't think I used this film to its best strength. So let me just, reiterate that I probably didn't get the chance to use this film how I wanted to. I thought it'd be really cool to do a whole portrait session on it or something, but I didn't get the chance to do that. So let's look at some more shots. Another shot of Winchester here. You can kind of see it does have a bit of that green cast in this one. This one's not too bad, but again, the latitude, the range of the film doesn't hold up too well. It is quite a grainy film. It was advertised to kind of have a fine grain, but I definitely wouldn't say it has a fine grain, even though I shot it at 100. This shot here, however, it's full of highlights and the shadows do look a bit better. This was shot at 100, but also probably overexposed a bit. I tried to meter for his fur, which is black or, charcoal, meaning this shot was probably overexposed by a couple of stops at least beyond 100. So it kind of seems to work here, but it just looks like a regular film with the saturation pulled down and some extra grain in my eyes. I do like this as a photo. It just would have worked as well on any film stock. The next shot here, I guess this one I kind of like. It does lend itself to that pre-visualized idea I had of what Lomo Metro would be good for, run down buildings and things like that, empty streets and whatnot. This shot in the neighborhood, I wanted to see what it did with the colors, which were very vivid. It was a golden hour, sunset approaching sort of period, and yeah, it just desaturates the colors really, and it just didn't shock me or do anything too special. So I don't mind this shot though. This was a nice scene. I really love this scene that I had, rode my bike past. It kind of works all right for Lomo Metro here. It just looks like a bit of an empty neighborhood, suburban sort of scene that you kind of would have seen during all these restrictions, I'm sure, wherever you live, with that bit of remainder of tape in the middle there. But let's move on, and you can kind of see a repetition of that color scheme. I don't know if it's because I shot it at 100, but those skies, I don't like what it does to the skies there. The building, the house looks cool. I think this was a good scene, but there's nothing special lending itself to working better on Lomo Metro than it would have on any other film. And in this next shot here of the water fountain, at the time of seeing this, I thought this would be a scene that would work quite well for Lomo Metro, being that sort of, again, post-apocalyptic look during these restrictions. The drinking fountain was closed. Yeah, it's good. I don't mind this shot. It's all right. This one here was taken at the beach. You can see I shot this film over a long period of time in a lot of different locations. Doesn't look great in my opinion. Another shot of Winchy here. He's grown up a little bit. So this lens can focus really close, which is what I like about that 28mm AIS lens. And I got really close, focused in on the eyes, tried to expose well as I could at 100, metering for the mid-tones to shadows, but you can see it kind of falls apart again. The highlights are blown out. The detail in the shadows is muddy. It's grainy. I don't know if I did something wrong with this film, maybe exposing it at 100 or something else, but yeah, it's just nothing that suits my taste. Let's just put it at that. Here we go, got a shot here, which was a portrait. This is initially what I'd hoped to do with this film, is to do a portrait session, because I'd seen other examples of portraits that turned out really cool. This is a shot of Sarah on her motorbike, and you can see that washed out look kind of works all right for this. It has that kind of almost anime look to it, that Mad Max post-apocalyptic feel in terms of the color scheme that, there's a bit of a scratch on this one, but let's look at the next one. Kind of works all right for this shot. This is probably one of my favorite shots on the roll, if not my favorite shot on the roll. And yeah, I think maybe it was my fault in that I didn't take more photos like this. I didn't really get the opportunity. This was only during a short period where restrictions eased and I, managed to take shots like this. But anyway, let's move on to another one. Now this is reaching the end of the roll. The vlog that you guys might have seen, if you subscribe to the channel, you saw the winter vlog I did, where I went and shot in the fog with my friend Phil. I did take the Nikon FE, chuck a few shots onto that roll of film during that foggy photo session, and I took this one, and it's interesting. I don't like that color cast. More shots like that in the fog, again, that weird color cast in the sky. This is a cool shot. I do like the photo, but I don't think Lomo Metro did it any favors once again. So further into that bit of rainforest that we were in the Black Spur, I found this, abandoned bike. And I thought this shot would lend itself really well to that Lomo Metro washed out look that you get. But yeah, it's okay. But the way the highlights render, the range on the film isn't too great. As we reach the end of this roll, you'll see a shot here that I also took on the Agfa Optima film, which was 20 years expired. This works okay. It does give me that kind of Walking Dead vibe that I had in my mind at the time when I was pre-visualizing how this might look on Lomo Metro, and it does kind of look like that. But again, nothing you couldn't achieve in editing. All right, now we've got a portrait of Phil here. I did take a portrait of him on medium format. If you've seen the vlog, you would have seen that. And I also got him to stay there and take a shot on Metro. And this one looks kind of cool. I don't mind this. Like, again, the setting, I think in the forest, it does again remind me of those visual themes I had in my mind, like Mad Max, The Walking Dead, that show Dark on Netflix, if anyone watches that. I had that playing in my mind with the wind and sort of forest, and I don't mind the shot actually. I think this film works well for portraits because I've got another portrait here, and this one again looks really cool. This one and the shot of Sarah are the two shots I really quite liked on this roll compared to everything else. So that's pretty much all the shots I wanted to go through and show you guys, and you can kind of see that maybe this film isn't really quite to my taste. It's not going to be for everyone. I did shoot the Lomo Purple, and that was very similar. It's a very niche film. It's something that you'd want to have a specific vision in mind when you go in shooting it. I really liked the portraits. I think it works well for maybe something, if you're doing a photo session, a portrait session with someone, and you wanted to sort of play with those colors, those washed out colors, it can work really well for that. And some of my favorite shots that I'd seen online were actually the ones taken by Christine Bartolucci. If you guys don't follow her, definitely check out her channel. I'll put a link in the description. The portraits she took on her roll of Lomo Metro are amazing. I really love them. And the way she chose the setting to shoot in and the color of the guy's beanie, I think it worked really well. I just didn't really get as good of a result, maybe also because it was 35mm. So that's my honest opinion on the film, guys. I'm sorry if this was a bit of a rant. If you were to ask me if I would shoot this film again, I probably would, but I would go in with more planning. I would go in with sort of a photo shoot, a session in mind, maybe something with those Mad Max themed sort of portrait session ideas, but that's not really the way I generally shoot. So I would say that if you kind of align with my point of view on those washed out colors, you may not love this film, but if you did like some of those shots, even though I didn't really quite love them, or you like those portrait sessions, I would really say it's worth a try. It's great that Lomo has actually bought out a film, the first color negative film to be brought to the market in around 5 years, which is a great thing. So I'm really happy that they actually did that they bring more films to the market that actually will be to a lot of people's tastes, even though it's not to mine, and that it's keeping film alive. And I'm also really thankful that they sent me the Lomo Metro film. They sent me 2 rolls and 35mm to actually review. I'm sorry that it took so long to get this out. I know I told some people I was going to do this, but yeah, I thought I'd still make this video and get it out. I didn't want to waste the effort of shooting the roll and not show you guys and not share my opinion. So that's pretty much the video, guys. Look forward to the next video on the channel. I hope you've been enjoying what I've been putting out lately. I know the videos are a little bit more frequent, which is great because I've had more time to make them. I don't know how long that'll be sustainable as I get busy again. But please, give me any suggestions, what you like about the channel, what you don't like, where you'd like to see it go, any ideas. I want to try and do more live streams again. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next time on Pushing Film.